which has been great. But just so you know, the end of September, the whispers are that the recording feature that we've come to love is going to be going away because that's one of the paid features of Google Meet. Google Meet is so easy. Just, people can join. We're good. And we can have up to 250 people in a Google Meet. But we also have another option, and that is Microsoft Teams. And Microsoft Teams does just a little bit more than Google Meet does, and it has that recording capability as well when we start a meeting. And apparently I thought we were already up to 300 because I know I've been in meetings when we've had about 300 people in there before, but they just upped I guess for everybody, for 300 people within a meeting in Microsoft Teams. So that's for everybody. Our students do have access to it through the classroom port that I'm going to show to you here in just a few minutes. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to find Microsoft Teams, how to create a team, and some of the features that you can use within the team. And if you do have questions, please put those in the chat, and Larry will find a spot. And if I'm talking too much or too loud or whatever, hey, okay, we have a question for you. So we want to make sure we answer everybody's questions. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm sharing a tab right now, but I'm actually going to go ahead and share my mail tab right now. All right, can you all see my mailbox? Please put no haters out there. All right, up here in the top, I'm going to see if it'll let me zoom in here. Is it showing me zooming in, Larry?
Yeah, it does. It looks good. It looks good.
Okay, right here.
There you go.
I'm getting it real big. Right here, here's the 9 squares. This is, some people call it the waffle. It's an apps launcher. We have 2 apps launchers. We have one for Google that's on the right side, and we have one for Microsoft that's on the left side. They're like on opposite sides of the world, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I'm going to zoom back out here so we can see this a little bit easier. All right, and here's your apps, okay? And you should see Teams right here. If you don't see Teams, then you go click right here on all apps, and you can find Teams there. They're all in alphabetical order, so you have to go down towards the bottom because T for Teams, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on Teams, and I've used it quite a bit, so mine's it's already stuck in all of my apps up at the top there. Give it a second to load here. It's got to think. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Here we go. All right, here's Microsoft Teams. And what I'm going to do is I'm already in a team because I was playing around with it yesterday again, making sure I remember where everything was for today. And these are the teams that I am a part of with Isleta. I'm also part of some other teams outside of Isleta that aren't going to show up here because I actually have a different login for those. So I'm a part of this innovative learning team. I'm part of this educators team, and I'm part of this credit recovery team. But what if I want to start a team for my class, for my faculty? I want to do some PD, and I want to have a team for them, or I want to do one for my grade level colleagues, because we're always pushing stuff out to each other, and right now we can't meet, and maybe we want to try Microsoft Teams. So up here in the top right here, it says join or create team. So that's what I'm going to click on. Okay.
And Misha, just let me put in real quick. We are going to try to put your classes and have them pre-created for you.
Yes.
In here. So you'll see like the names of each period that you have. Elementary teachers, you'll have one for every subject you teach, even though you're not departmentalized. So that is, hopefully it's coming in the fall.
Which will be nice because it's already going to be kind of rostered in there for you. But in the event that, you want to create some in there and you don't have quite the roster yet, I'm going to show you how you can actually invite students or teachers or fellow colleagues into your team. So these are teams that have already been created that are just kind of out there. I mean, we don't see too many because, you see tests. People are playing around with this. And I'm going to suggest to you, you play around with it. And you can make it public, you can make it private, and I'll show you all that here in just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new team. Now, when you create a new team, it's going to give you some options. One is a class. And of course, this is probably what we want to use for students, because you're going to get your hands on the OneNote notebook for students, right? And you're going to have, it's going to feel more like a classroom environment. You're going to have assignments and things like that. You have a PLC, which is of course, our professional learning community. And you'll see staff and you see other. Now, most of these are very similar in how they're set up. So you can choose which one that you want. For me, if this was for staff, like I want everybody to be a part of a team, you know, at my campus, so we can push out information. I would probably use a PLC for everybody. And then that way we can push it out, or staff, one of the two. They're both pretty, like I said, they're pretty similar. All right. But for today, I'm going to choose class, because this is going to be for my kids, my pretend class that I'm going to have here. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and click class. All right. So now I have to give it a name, and I'm just going to name this Mrs. Daniel, 1. Okay. And you'll see that because I'm a part of Innovative Learning, it put Innovative Learning right here. And then I can put a description for this class if I wish to, or this team. And I'm just going to leave it blank for right now. And it's really, really easy also to delete a team. So don't think that it's there forever, because it's not. You can delete them super easy. All right. It's creating my team. Okay. So now I can search for students if I want to, and put my students in. And notice here it says teachers. And I can search for teachers. So I can have other teachers be a part of this as well, that can help me do, you know, as like co-teachers, kind of like what we do with Google Classroom. All right. And right now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put one of my sons in here, and my other son too. Okay. I'm just going to put them in there. I'm going to click add. No, they're going to get a notification, and they're going to come in here. What are you doing, Mom? All right, so I put them in here, and I can put as many students in here as I want to. I'm going to put in their email address. Now, there's another way where you can get a join code, and you can have them join just like you can in Google Classroom, and we'll go through that as well. I can also add teachers in here. So if I wanted to add Larry in here, there's Larry, and now I'm going to add him as a teacher. Okay, and now I'm going to close. Okay. All right, so now I have this class in here. And I can upload class materials, which means maybe like a syllabus, or maybe if I've got a list of spelling words or whatever it is I want to put in here, I can put that in here. I can find help and training in here also, because they do have some like videos and different things in here to kind of help you get started if you're not sure. I kind of had to find my way through this all on my own. When I very first started, I had to become a member of a team that, like I said, it was outside the district, and I wasn't really a participant. I was just more of an observer. But I learned a lot. Okay. Now, one of the things is you can do is you can actually put some settings on the team, and I recommend doing that. So you see these 3 dots right here next to Innovative Learning, Mrs. Daniel 1. I'm going to click right there, and you're going to see where I can manage team. Okay, so first of all, it's going to show me who's in here. All right. And of course, these are the 2 owners, because they're teachers. So all of your teachers will be considered an owner. Now, if I don't want Larry to be an owner, because I'm the one that created it, I can actually click here and I can make him a member. But I don't want to. I want him to be an owner of this team as well.
Thank you.
I can. You're welcome. Yeah, I trust you. I'm going to go over here where it says settings, because we don't have any channels yet. And I can pick a theme. And you notice on that one Innovative Learning one that I had like a DNA strain. I can choose a theme here if I want to. And my member permissions. So any members that join my team, I can choose any of these options here, because right now I give them the option that they can delete their messages and that they can edit their messages. And that's all that they can do. They cannot add channels. I don't want them adding channels. They're just members. Now the owners can, of course, but our members cannot. And those members, remember, are my students. So I can choose any of these that I want my students or the members of my team to do. Okay. So guest permissions. They don't have any permission. If you're a guest in here, you're just pretty much an observer, which is what I was like in my very first team. So if there's mentions, what that means is if you're in a team, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like Facebook, but in a way it kind of is. You do like the at symbol, and then you do the beginning of somebody's name, and you can actually send like a message to them. And then when they get that mention, then they can respond to you. It's almost like you're having a conversation. That's what that is. I guess also like Twitter. Twitter does like the same kind of thing. Team code. Okay. Right now we don't have a team code for this, but if I wanted to generate a code, I click here, generate, and here's my code. And so what I do is then I post this somewhere, and then anybody who wants to join, because if you notice on that button when we created the team, it said create or join, just like it does on our Google Classroom. This is kind of similar to Google Classroom in a way. Then you put in the code or your students put in the code, and then they're a part of your team. So you don't always have to just put their emails in. Now, as a former first grade teacher working with little guys, of course, that's what I would do. I would put my kids' email addresses in there if I was using Teams with my first graders. I wouldn't want them putting it in because I know they're going to get that M and that G. They're going to switch them around, and then they're going to say they couldn't get in. So I would do that for myself, for my kids. But if I've got, second graders, third grade, those kids can put the code in. Okay. And one class notebook. I don't know if you know about Class Notebook, but this is a great place to share out information with students. And we'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute. Okay. And the rest of this is just, just kind of basic type of setting stuff. So, as you go through here, you make the choice because you're the owner. So you get to make those choices. Under channels, we don't have any channels. We just have one channel because anytime that you create a team, you get one channel, and that's the general channel. That's kind of like your stream, if you wish, that's on like your Google Classroom. It's where everything kind of lives. And then underneath that general channel, you can actually put sub channels. And what's really cool about them is I can make a channel like for if I have like a green group and a red group and an orange group, and I've got like 4 kids that I want to work together, then I just invite those kids into the channel, and only those kids can go into that channel, and then they can work together in there. Almost like a breakout room in a way. It's not really officially one, but it's kind of like one. So, okay, how do I make a channel? Here's the add a channel button. Remember, I'm under settings and under channel. I can add a channel here by pushing this purple button. And then I type in the channel name, the description, and then the privacy level. And see, I can ask a specific group of people within the team to join. Okay, so if I only wanted Eric in here and not Eric and Alex in here, I can do that. I can make it private. If it's standard, that means anybody who's a member of the team will be able to access this channel. Maybe you want something in here about blended learning, and so you want everybody to have access to it, but you want a channel just for blended learning. That's great. But then maybe you want a channel for data for group 1, and you only want, Alex and Eric and David to be in this one. Then that's when you would make it private, not standard. Okay, I hope I'm clear as mud on that. And it's automatically show this the channel in everyone's channel list. I'm going to tell you that in the teams that I'm a member of from the outside, I'm in a Minecraft team and in an MIE team, I can see a whole list of channels, but I'm not a part of all of those channels. I can see them, and I can even try to click on them, but it doesn't do anything. It's just there. If I don't want that to happen, I only want them to see the channels they're a part of, then I will uncheck this, and it will only show that particular channel for specific students or the people that channel is a part of. So you can choose to check this or choose not to check it. It's up to you. I'm actually not going to create another channel right this second, right now, but I just want to show you what it is. So there's one way to add a channel here, and the other way is right here on the 3 dots, right where we got into the settings to begin with. We can add a channel here. We can also add members here. We can edit the team name and some of the specifics for it, and we can get the link for a team that if we need to send that out in an email to people. That's how I got a member of some of the teams I was a part of. They sent me a link and I got in. They didn't send me a code. They just sent me a link. But you saw where we enabled that code, so we can send that code out as well. Okay, and you see at the bottom here, it's really difficult. I can delete the team straight in here. This is where I'm going to go. All right, so now we've looked at some of the settings. I'm going to go back to general because this is my very first channel. Okay. And it shows that you're going to see this if you've added or removed people from the team. It always kind of like lists everything that's kind of happened within the team. And I added 2 students, and then of course I added I added Larry to my team as well. Okay. All right. So let's look at what we have here under general. This is where our posts go. This is kind of like the stream. All right. Under files, some people put files in here, and you can upload files in. And right now I don't have any in here because we just created this team. What I have found is when somebody posts something in the teams, they usually post a link to it, and then everybody just gets to it from that link. People normally don't go to the files tab to get it, and that's the way I am, and I know that's the way a lot of people are. Like even in Google Classroom, when you have that section in the back where you have all of your class resources, a lot of times our kids don't always go there to find stuff. So this to me is it's good that it's there, because in case somebody is real inquisitive and wants to look for it. But a lot of times your students, and I know for as far as I'm concerned, I have not used this tab very, very much. Okay, but here's the class notebook. Now the class notebook is really, really cool, because what this does is it makes a binder, a class binder for each one of your team members. So if I have my entire class in here, I'm going to make a class notebook for each of them. And this is how we do it. We're going to set up the class notebook. Now we can set up a blank notebook, or we can set up an existing notebook. I'm going to set up a blank one because I want it to have specific tabs, and I want to have specific topics and everything in there. So I'm going to make a blank notebook. Okay. And every notebook, regardless of if it's in the PLC or if it's in the staff or wherever it is, it's going to have 3 components. It's going to have a collaborative space, and that's where students or people who are all part of that team can work together or to share information, share files. It's going to have a content library in there. Okay. And only the teachers are going to be able to edit the content. Only students are going to be able to view the content that's in there. And there's also going to be what's called a student notebook. If it's in the PLC, it's going to be a staff notebook, but they are all exactly the same, just a little bit different name. So these 3 components are in every notebook that's created. Okay. So I'm going to click next. All right. So now my innovative learning notebook, it's going to have a student name on the outside. So I obviously in this team, I have 2 students. I have Alex and I have Eric, and their name is going to be on the outside of the notebook. And on the inside, it can say handouts. Well, what if I don't want it to say handouts? I want it to say something different. I just go in here, highlight, and I change it to whatever name that I want it to be. So maybe I'm going to put syllabus in here. Maybe I'm trying to get my kids ready to go to college, right? So I put syllabus in here. Whatever your topic is, you put it in here. It does not have to be the topics that are in here. You can choose. If you don't want a topic, there's an X. Obviously, we're going to click on that X, and then that topic will go away, or section. And then you can also add more sections. You can add many, 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 many sections to this notebook, right? Now, again, this notebook is going to be made like a copy for each one of your students. So you're already setting this up for the year. So, okay, I want to have, if this is a science notebook, I want to have stuff, on chemistry. I want to have stuff on biology, whatever it may be that you have in here. And I know we break things down even farther than that at the high school level. I'm just trying to give you examples. So
now, Misha, will students be able to change the labels?
I don't believe so, because
Okay.
once you set them, now they'll be able to add their own tabs to the notebook. Let's say they've got one for assignments or something like that, and they want to put stuff in there. They'll be able to do that, but the ones that you've created, they can't change them.
Right.
So they're kind of stuck, which is okay. And I'm going to leave everything as it is, because I'm going to go ahead and click create. Now it's getting my class notebook ready. Takes a little bit. Bear with me.
It's
Maybe
coming.
tomorrow. It's coming. I know we want everything like now. We're all such an instant world anymore. Instant message, instant everything. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, this is just some information on the front page, on the home page, on what the notebook is. Okay, insert. This is kind of where the power happens under insert, because now I have the ability to add links, to add documents, to add everything to this notebook, and guess what? It goes out to everybody. It goes out to everybody's notebook. So if I put it in the tab of assignments, it's going to go into everybody's notebook. As soon as it decides that it's gonna move, doesn't look like it's moving too much here. Not sure why. So we'll wait on that one. Maybe it's going to let me draw here. Maybe then again, maybe not. It's letting me go to draw, but it's not acting like it is. There's a whiteboard that's in here that you can draw on. So if I were to do a drawing for somebody, I'm doing a math problem, I can actually add shapes and make a math problem, and then I can share that out, and it'll get shared with everybody in their notebook. And again, I'm thinking maybe because we're in the meet and we're doing this at the same time. I'm not sure, Larry.
I think it is. I
Just
think it
yeah,
is. I had a question about using this for the literacy notebook.
I would say this would be a great alternative. We talked this morning, if you were at our bulb session, we also talked about using bulb as a way of doing that. And actually you can put links to the bulb in here as well. Students can do that as well. So you can have all kinds of stuff in the digital world, and now we're also remote, and we don't know how much longer this is going to be, but this is a great way of combining all kinds of information in one location for our students. And how many times out of those binders do those pages get ripped out? Or I mean, they're not going to get ripped out of this. No dog's going to eat this homework. It's stuck in there.
Very
So
good.
that's what I really like about it. Plus it's just so easy to share, if it would let me kind of move on here a little bit. Okay. All right. So under the class notebook, maybe it's finally going to move over. It doesn't look like it's gonna. Let's see. I'm just going to move over here. Here's our tabs. Here's our collaboration space. Hopefully this will open up. Okay. And what this is going to do is this is kind of walk you through what the collaboration space is. Okay. What you can do with it with your students, what the content library, what you can do. And in the content library, again, you're adding stuff for your students. This is kind of like resources. This isn't like assignments. This is more of informational type of content. Okay. And look here. Do you see this here? I have Alexander Daniel and I have Eric Daniel, because my students are going to be listed here. So I can actually go in to their notebook and see what they're doing in their notebook. So as my students are working through their assignments and different things, I can actually go in here, and if I said, you know what, it should be in your handouts, I click on handouts, and oh, look at that, it's finally changing. Then it will actually tell me and that this is the handout that they were working on. Of course, he hasn't worked on anything because he doesn't probably even know that he's a part of this team right now. He will in a little while. I'll get a question about it, I'm sure. But you see the power of this as well. This is a lot like Google Classroom and how it works, right? I just think that this notebook is just so great because you have everything in one place. Google Classroom, we have everything in one place too. Don't get me wrong. I love Google Classroom. I just think this is another alternative, another way that we can get information to kids. Teams seems to be good. And we're going to talk about how to set up the meeting and all that here in just a little bit, but I really wanted to let you look at this notebook, because I'll also be thinking about this as a PD factor for your teachers. So like you had a set of teachers and you're doing blended learning, or you're working on strategies for reading, and you've got your teachers in here. So you're just passing out information through the content library to your teachers, and they're putting stuff into their notebook. And then everybody, because it's a PLC, I don't know that you can get down into the minutia like this and see what every page is in their notebook, because I don't think that you can, but I'm not sure. I don't want to misspeak on that one. But I can, as a, if I am doing professional development, this would be a great way for me to push out information. I know we're always looking for a better way, and I know Google Classroom is a great way to get information, but sometimes that stream can be a little overwhelming, and if you don't know how to use topics, that can work against you. But it's all right here. It already assigns everything to the topic because you put it in there automatically. Up here we have assignments. Yeah, assignments, just like Google Classroom. Okay.
Very, very similar.
So we can get started. I mean, and again, I'm not trying to say one is better than the other, because I think they are both very, very powerful. And as a teacher, I probably would want to use both of them just as a way of collecting that information for my kids. Okay. So I can give an assignment, or I can give a quiz. So I'm going to give an assignment. And if I decided to use a quiz, of course, I'm not going to be using Google Forms. I mean, I could add it as a link, but Microsoft has its own version of Google Forms. I'm going to say, though, it's not as smooth as Google Forms is. Google has everybody beat on Google Forms. I'm sorry. There's just no way around to saying that. All right, so I add the title of my assignment, my directions. This should look pretty familiar. Looks a lot like Google Classroom here. You can add a rubric to it. You can add resources to this assignment. I want you to read this PDF document. I want you to answer these questions. You put a due date and who it's assigned to. This is just like Google Classroom now, where you have the check marks and you check the kids that you're gonna assign it to. Right now, I can assign it to everybody, both of my students that are in here, or if I wanted just to assign it to a specific students, again, for that individualized learning opportunity, this is a way to do that, right? And I can post it immediately. I can check out, again, just like in Google Classroom, we can change the time. We can schedule when it's going to go live, right? And then I would save. And I'm not really going to do that right now, so I don't want my kids to freak out. So but I am showing you how we can put in the assignment. Now grades, everyone's like, oh, cool. Now is this going to work with our SIS? I don't think so, but this is where you would put in the grades.
Now, did you say does it grade for you?
It will grade things for you, like the quizzes and that app. And you would set it up the same way that you set them up, like in Nearpod or in Google Forms, where you would have to pick the correct answer. Okay. Now, see, I don't have any assignments, so it's not going to let me go into any grades, but the grade book looks very similar to that in Google Classroom, where it has the student and how many points they received, and it gives them a percentage at the end, just like Google Classroom. So again, it's all kind of right here for you. So are there any questions about using the class notebook, which I think is truly amazing?
In the assignment covered, Misha. I think you got it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go back to general right here, because I want to show you the power of creating a meeting. Now, they've just made this change because there was worry that our students would be able to chat to one another in a Teams meeting. That is no longer allowed. They have made a change to that. And there was worry that students could be in a meeting at any time. And that has been removed. So right now, if Alex or Eric were to come in here, I would have to be a part of the meeting in order for the meeting to happen. They cannot just come in here and say, I'm going to schedule a meeting. It cannot happen that way. I'm the teacher. I have to set up the meeting, which is a really good security feature to have. I really like that a lot. And I know the same thing we have in Google Classroom. Again, I'm not here to compare the two. I'm just trying to give you another way to look at what we have right now. Okay, so down here at the bottom, this is how we kind of chat with people within our team. We can add documents, we can add emojis, GIFs, etc. But the one we're going to focus on is right here, this little video camera. Because when I click on it, okay, you see now that window kind of popped up right there, right? If I click Meet Now, what's going to happen is it's going to start a meeting. And then all I do is click record, and it will record the meeting, and it will record as long as I leave it running. Okay. So I can just turn on a meeting at any time that I want to, or if I want to schedule a meeting, let me get out of this. Right over here along the edges, and we're going to talk about some of these icons also, but there's one here for the calendar. I can actually go into my calendar, and it goes into my calendar that I have for the district, my Outlook calendar, and I can schedule a time for a meeting to occur, and I can invite people just like I can on anything else that I want to use my calendar for. So then they're going to get the invite. I know right now with Google Meet, that can be an issue, you know, getting people to, you know, you have to get the link and all of that, and that's just one extra step. And don't get me wrong, I love Google Meet. I use it every single day, but you know, I'm also looking for other ways to help us that are gonna be beneficial to us. So if I click calendar here, please don't look at my calendar. I'm sure I have lots of stuff up here. Yes, I do. So if I go here like to Wednesday the 1st, and I know I've got lots of stuff going on during the day, so we're going to put this meeting after hours here. We'll do it at 5 o'clock, and I click in here. Okay, and then of course I'm going to add a title. I'm going to add everything that, you know, that I would need to add for this meeting. Starts at 5, and maybe goes to 5:30, maybe goes to 6, whatever. Now this is a new meeting, which means this is going to be a new video meeting, a video chat meeting. Once I set all of this up, then I'm going to click save, and then it's going to go on my calendar. And if I've invited people right here, it's also going to go to them, and then it'll be posted on their calendar if they accept. Okay. So this is a great way to get those set up if this is something that you want to do, because I know in the past we've gotten lots of questions about Google Meet, and it's like, you know what, it's not showing up on our calendar. How do we make it show up on our calendar? You know, I'm trying to set up a meeting, or the meeting, it's not working right. We put the nickname in, and then it closes down, and all of, well, this might prevent that from happening to you. Again, I'm not saying to use one or the other, because I think they both are very, very, very good platforms. Don't get me wrong about that.
Misha, where does the video save?
That's what we're going to talk about next. I'm going to show you actually where it saves, because there's 2 places that that will actually save, and I'm going to have to actually create a meeting and let it run a little bit so I can show you. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of my calendar now and get back to my Teams. If you don't know where to go, you've always click on the little people up here, and that'll take you back out to the main page and back out to general. So I'm going to go ahead and just start a meeting right now. Okay, I'm in the meeting. And in order to record it, I actually have to click, I think it might still be setting up, because I should see my little dots here. I think it's still connecting. Looks like it's still connecting. Here
on
we
our
go.
side, I can see the 3 dots.
I can see them, but it's not letting me click on them yet.
Click? Okay.
Right here, it still says that it's connecting. It's trying to connect me right now. And I just think it's because we're using 2 platforms at the same time. Okay, they finally are not grayed out anymore, so hopefully it'll come up. Come on. Come on. This one here is where we would share, and of course then you've got your microphone and your camera just like you have in Google Meet. All right, right here, and you'll see start recording. So it should start recording here, hopefully. I should see the little recording symbol here. I'm looking for it. I'm not saying it. Oh, my hand was raised. Did you see that? I didn't really raise my hand. Okay, let's try this again. Hopefully it'll record this time. It's just really slow, just like last time, Larry. All right, I'm going to take it real slow.
Yeah, it's because we're using
it real slow. Yeah, let's see if it's recording now. Looks like it might be recording, maybe.
It looks like it is.
Let's hope so.
It says record at the top left on your screen.
Ah,
okay.
On yours? On your view. Okay, I don't see that. Maybe it's just kind of blocked out. maybe
Yeah.
right here, maybe there. Now see, now look here what it's saying right here. Hopefully you can see this. It says suggestions, because I'm in this meeting by myself, just having a good old time talking with myself. But it's telling me, hey, you've got these people who are in your team. Are you sure you don't want to try to invite them? And if I click on them, what it's going to do is it's going to try to call them through Microsoft 365. And if they are logged into Microsoft 365, maybe they're checking their email, they're going to get a little notification saying that I would like them to join the meeting. Okay, because I didn't invite them using the calendar, but I can actually call them if I want to. But there's going to be a high chance that Alex and Eric are not in their email right now. I can pretty much guarantee they're not, and so I'm not going to do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Hopefully, everything is just running so slow here. But you see how easy that was? Well, it would be really easy if I didn't have 3 meets going and all of that. Okay. All right. I think we're okay now. So what I'm going to do now is, yes, I want to stop recording. Yes, I do. If I just click this here, it's just going to hang me up. And the meeting is still going to kind of be open. And I don't want that to happen. So I got to click on those 3 dots again and wait 30 more minutes here for it to stop. And right here it says end meeting. So I'm going to click on end meeting. And when I end the meeting, whoever was in the meeting is going to get a message that says meeting has been ended. And it just made a little noise telling me that the meeting is now officially over. Mm-hmm. And give me just a second here. It's kind of got to load up. But look right here. This is the recording right here. So if I come into the meet, or to the team, I mean, and I can actually click on it and watch the recording from here. Once I think it's still rendering, because normally this is a black box right here that you'll see. And you'll see that it has like a little video piece of film in it, and you'll know that that's a video. Now, there's another place where this is also located, because right here, you're not going to be, if you're just a part of a team, you're not going to be able to download it. Even if you're the team owner, you will not be able to download it from right here. Okay. Let's say I want to download it because I want to put it on YouTube, because this is going to be a video that I want to put on YouTube. So what you're going to do is there's 3 dots over here on the side, and you're going to want to go to stream. Now it's still rendering, so I'm hoping that it shows up in stream. But this is where it's going to live.
And make sure you can present your screen, correct? Your desktop,
yes.
All of that is still the same.
Yes. Yes. Right now, I don't have any videos in here. I think I might have to set it up back in Teams. It's been a little while since I've actually downloaded a video from here. But I think as you're watching it, or you send it over to stream maybe? No, it's still rendering, and I apologize. It's still rendering. But when you go into the video, there's an option that you can send it to stream, and when you put it over into stream, it's kind of like all it is a container. That's what it is. It's just like almost kind of like your Google Drive. You just kind of put it in there, and then when it's in the stream, it goes to your watch list, and then from there you can download it. We had to find that out the hard way, because we were trying to figure out, well, how are we going to download video? You know, if our video is going to go away on the Google Meet, how do we do that? And that's how it works the same way. And you'll notice that on the view of the team is a little bit different. It's whoever is talking, you just see their picture. Now you can make it so you can see a few other ones. There's almost like a grid view, but if you've got a ton of people in there, there's going to be a lot of people you're not going to be able to see. You'll just see like some names, and there's no way around that. What I do like about Google Meet is I can use the grid view, and if we have 100 people in here, I see 100 little teeny tiny icons, but I know there's 100 people in there. With Teams, I don't have that ability to see that. Now they are saying that they are working on the grid view, and it wouldn't surprise me if they have something pretty soon with that, because they're all trying to compete with each other right now. So I'm sure that's coming soon, but right now that's not an option. Questions?
Well, here's one. I think you already answered it, but when you're sharing
Okay.
your screen, can you see the people in the meet or in the video?
That is the caveat that you cannot. And I'm going to give you an example of what happened to somebody that she's a guru of mine. I was in a uh, I was in a Teams meeting. They were having all these Microsoft trainings, and I saw Alice Keeler was going to be giving one on. Actually, she was giving it on Teams, and she was real excited. And she's in there, and she was presenting with somebody else, and they were in two completely different locations, and that doesn't really even matter. But she was trying to present, and she's like, "Okay, I'm presenting my slides, but I can't see any of you. Is anybody there?" And she wasn't sure if anybody was asking a question or not, because it's kind of like when you're presenting in Google Meet. Like right now, I'm just seeing the Teams. I'm seeing what you're seeing on, what I'm presenting to you. I can't see what's going on in Teams, so I can't see myself. So yeah, that's the only issue. When you record a meet, of course, you get the view of the person, and you get the view of the screen. So I think it's a little bit different in the Teams. Okay, and you'll see here now that it's finished rendering, it's in there, and we only recorded like 1 minute and 32 seconds worth of video here, but here it is. And then if I came into Teams, I just click on that and I can watch it, which is what I've done many times in the Teams I'm a part of, because most of the time they're recording them at times when I'm working or that I'm not unable to attend. So you've got the meeting here, you just click on it and watch it. Of course, you cannot download it from here. You have to send it to Stream in order to download it. Any other questions about using the meeting feature?
Now, there's a question. Can you have teams working independently and be presenting in a meeting?
Are you talking about having like be a part of two different teams at the same time?
And that's what it looks like, yes.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you that we tried to break it. Shelly and I tried to break Teams about a couple of weeks ago, and we kept hearing horrible echoes, but that was beside the point. What we did is I had a channel for general, and I had a channel for, I don't even remember what. We had like 3 channels going, and we had meetings going on all 3 of those channels, as well as the Google Meet going. And I'm going to tell you, it was really funny. We were crying, we were laughing so hard, but it was I mean, we were able to do it. You can have multiple meetings going. The only issue is because everything is feeding through the same equipment. If I'm talking here, I'm talking in the other team. If I'm not muted, I'm talking in the other team. So, or you're seeing me, just like if I've got 2 meets open, and I've got, our one that for our virtual office, and then I've got this one, and let's say somebody comes into our virtual office and they're asking me a question, but I'm talking here. They're going to be like, what is she saying? Who's she talking to? It's the same kind of thing, because your microphone and your video are giving out the same feed. So that's where you can run into some issues. And then if you've got a mic or you've got speakers and your microphone is picking up that speakers, you're going to, of course, get that really wonderful echo effect that makes your head just spin. So. Yeah, and that's what we were getting to.
And I think the teacher's idea was like literacy centers.
I see what you're saying. So if you had different channels, then yeah, I could see how that could work. If you wanted kids to work together, because you don't have to be in the meeting. I can set up a meeting, and then I can leave the meeting and leave it open. I can just pop away from it. You see how I ended the meeting? That's the way you end the meeting. But I could just leave it open, and then the kids could be in there talking. Of course, we always have to be a little leery of that. But you know what? If it's for work and stuff, plus if I say, you know what, we're going to record this, 99.9% of the time, our kids are going to do what's right. Right. I know we focus a lot on what they're not going to do is right, but they're going to do the right thing most of the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. The other question is, does it automatically send the recorded meeting to the stream, or do you manually have to do it?
You manually have to do it. Yeah, you manually have to do it. And I know that's kind of like, oh man, really? But yeah, and there's a process to it. So if I click in here, first of all, it's going to bring up the meeting, and hopefully it doesn't start it. It's actually going to start it, so I'm gonna pause it here. So this is the actual meeting here, and see right here where it says view in Microsoft Stream. So if I click this button, it's going to send it to my stream, and then I'm going to have to go in there to download it because I can't just download it from here. They have it set that way on purpose, so that way people just can't go into a team and download a video that belongs to somebody else. You actually have to go into a specific location to find it, which I think is a good thing, but it also makes it a little more work for teachers. So, but this is where you go, you click here.
Is there a way to link it to Google Classroom, the Teams?
Are you talking about like the video, or are you talking about?
I'm thinking both. I'm thinking what the teacher's saying is the video as well as getting into the team.
Let's see. I don't know if it's going to offer you a link here. I don't think that it does, because it's kind of, like I said, it was kind of hard to even just to download it. Now, if I were to download the video, which is like a lot of work to have to download it and then upload it into Google Drive and then put the link into Google Classroom, that might be a little more work. But what you could do is you could put a link to your team in Google Classroom, because remember, you can get a link for the team. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You get a link to the team, and then you put that in Google Classroom. And then, of course, I would only want to assign that link to students that I know were a part of that team or were a part of that channel. Okay?
Very good.
Yes.
And is there any offline use of Teams? The question was, do you have internet access? If you don't have internet access, do you still have to use the app?
Yes, unfortunately, yes. Now, I'm going to say that I have it on my phone as well. There's an app that I have on my phone, and so I can use my cellular data on my phone. It gives me notifications when people post things in the teams. I can go in there. I can post things in there. I can watch the videos and everything straight off of my phone. So there's a phone app, and I believe it works as well like on an iPad, mobile devices. It also works, of course, on Chromebooks, but you do have to be connected to the internet in some way, whether it be through a cellular, like on a cell phone, or through an internet provider service.
All right, very good, Misha. Thank you for answering the questions.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's all the questions. We're good.
We'll go
through. All right, we'll go through just a couple more of these menu things as I'm looking at the time, and I'm going to highly suggest that just go in there and play with it, create a team, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to delete a team, because we're going to actually delete this team at the end here. So when I come into a team, right up here, it says activity. If there's a little red dot here, that means, of course, you have activity. Somebody's posted something. Maybe they've added some kind of files or assignments or something. So you'll see the activity here. Under the chat feature, it might be that somebody's chatted to somebody else. Now, again, students aren't going to have that ability to do that with each other, but maybe it's a teacher getting back to you about something. So you'll see the little dot here as well. This is the Teams one. This will show you all your teams. Assignments, very simple. It's going to be your assignments that have been assigned to you, or that you have assigned out. The calendar, we've gone over that already. The calls are the meetings, or they're both the same. And then, of course, here's where your files are. Down here in these three dots, this is where you can add more applications to your team. Right now, these are the ones that are kind of added in the background. We've got the OneNote, the class, and the staff notebook, which are you'll notice that the icon is exactly the same because it's OneNote. It's the same. We have the planner, which is part of the calendar. The stream, I don't know what Who is. I don't even want to say I remotely know what that is. Or in the wiki, I'm assuming that's gonna go to wiki sites. A lot of them out there. But if you want to add more apps, click more apps. And yeah, there's like no apps here to choose from. There's Flipgrid. Oh my goodness, Flipgrid. Whoa. MindMeister. I can add that to my teams. Wow, are you kidding me? Yes, there are Lucidchart. Oh, how awesome. I love Lucidchart. some of these I didn't even know were in here, or they've just recently added them. The GoToMeeting is in here. There Kahoot. I could go on and on. This list is quite lengthy, and so this might even take you some time to go through and see what you might want to add to your teams. So again, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. All right.
We have a question. What
Yes.
about using this as a data binder and sharing data with students, assessments?
That's what I was thinking too. Yes. I see, we've been talking a lot about Bulb and of course we're here talking about the OneNote notebook, but I see them both that you could use it for data, because if every student has their own binder, that means they could be putting their data in there. They could be putting, spreadsheets that have their academic data on it, or even their non-academic data. They could be having, their attendance sheet in there. How many days have has it been sunny outside? There's endless possibilities of what you could use the notebook that's in here in Teams and in Bulb. And again, I'm not trying to say one is better than the other, because I'm just trying to show you just another avenue. We're adding another fork to that road, another road going off, because if we give you lots of opportunities and lots of choices, there's that word choice again, blended learning, then you're going to be able to make the choice that's best for you. If you've just got one option and that's the only option that you have, or that you think you have, it may or may not be the most exciting thing for you. But if there's something else out there that might work better for you, please, use it. And we're just trying to show you another avenue to do that. And I think Teams is very powerful. It is a little bit of a learning curve. I'm not going to lie to you that you're going to need to go in here and just kind of poke around. But that's the beauty of Teams, because we have access to it already. You can just go in there. You can create a team like in 10 minutes, 10 minutes from now. It's going to take you 10 minutes. It'll take you like a minute to create one. And then from there, what? It's awesome. It's just really awesome. I really think this is a great platform.
So Misha, in thinking about it, you have Teams. Inside of Teams, you have your one notebook. So students can share a notebook, but then they can have their own pages to that notebook, correct?
Yes. They can add their own pages to the notebook. They can add their own drawings to the notebook. They have access to everything that you have access to. And then you're able to push out everything to them as well. So that there's something, you have another document, maybe it's like I said, it's a PDF that you'd like them to read, or it's a flyer and you say, okay, here's this flyer. Let's take a look at this flyer. How can we make it? You can do all kinds of things. If you're talking about digital citizenship, what's wrong with this picture? Why, it could be somebody who's surfing the internet in an inappropriate way or something. There's endless ways that you can use all of this stuff. And everything is all in one place, which is really, really nice. And again, Teams does work. Like I have, there's a desktop application, but again, and you can do it kind of offline, but it does need to be able to connect at some point. Otherwise, it's kind of like Google Docs, and that way you could sit there and write out a Google Doc when you're not connected. I've seen people do this on airplanes when they don't have any internet service, and as soon as they connect back, then it shoots it up to the cloud. The same thing in Teams. You just, in order to be interactive and to get the latest, you do need to be though connected to the internet.
Mm-hmm. But for a lot like the Chromebooks, it works with the Chromebooks.
Oh yes, because this works with a 365. This is all cloud based. Everything here is cloud based. So you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, well, what if they don't have this application on their device? You don't need to have the application. Back in the day, I remember a long time ago, when if you wanted to use like Microsoft Word, you had to have the application on your device, otherwise your device couldn't read it, right? Well, now we've got the cloud version of that. Yes, you can still download it to your device if you really need to, but you can also just work in the cloud and work on it there, and then you're golden. And I really like that so many of our applications are going that way, because that means that more of our device types have access to it. It's not just one, it's not just PCs, it's not just Macs, it's not just iPads, it's everything now has access, which means access for more. Well, I do notice the time, and we are getting really short on time. Larry, can you get that Bitly out for everybody? Because I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to delete this team. And again, you can delete it here with these 3 dots here. Delete the team right here. And the other place where you can delete it, I'm going to go out to all teams. And again, these are my teams that I'm a part of. You probably won't have any if this is your first time in Teams. But notice the 3 dots at the top. And if you've been in any of my trainings, you know I always say this. If you see 3 dots in Google, in Microsoft, in anything, click on it, because there's something awesome in there and you're going to miss out. So always click on the 3 dots. Be a clicker. All right. And you're going to see here that you get pretty much the same options on the outside, and the option on the bottom is delete team. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this team. Are you sure you want to delete this team? I have to check the little checkbox saying, yes, I understand that this team will be deleted. And then I delete it. And now it's gone. That's it.
And I just put in the bit.ly for the certificate, so it's ready to go.
All right. I'm going to watch the people start filling that out. And like I said, I'm going to run that in just a little while. I'm going to give everybody some time to hit that submit button before I run them. That way we don't have another mass email go out. I apologize for that. I promise that will not happen this time, because I'm going to be making sure that it does it the correct way. But give Teams a try. Just get in there and practice and play, and invite one of your colleagues in on a meeting with you, just to see how easy it is to set it up, record it, see how easy it is to access it. You know, you just give it a try. And if it's not something that you like, it's not your cup of tea, not going to hurt my feelings any. At least you gave it a shot. And anything that's going to benefit our students and our teachers, because I know we always try to give y'all the easiest way to get from A to B. And I know that there's a little bit of a learning curve here, but there's some power here in the notebook and in the meetings feature of it. I see where this can be really helpful. And they're telling me, I'm hearing whispers that there's going to be breakout rooms very soon. So I'm thinking conferences, if we're going to be doing this remote stuff for a while and we need to have breakout rooms, that's coming very soon. So, you know, it's more to look forward to.
Very good, Misha. And please keep in mind, we're not saying Google's going away. It's not.
No, Google is not going away. Well, we just know that the recording component, there's a very good chance that that's going to go away. It's not set in stone that it's going to go away, but it's a really good chance that it is. And I know for our department, we do a lot of recording of we will find a way to record our sessions. Don't get me wrong. We'll find a way, whether we use Teams or something else, if it does in fact go away. But we're trying to give you some options now to kind of look at and say, oh yeah, I could use that instead. And maybe that gives you some time to get comfortable with it before it does go away.
Yep. And actually, a lot of times you're going to notice that Google does this better. So you're going to use Classroom, but then you're going to use Teams for the notebooks and maybe the literacy notebooks, or you're going to use Bulb. You just use what's best for you and your students, and that's what matters. We don't want to
tell you what to use. We don't want to tell you which platform this is the winner. This is the one that we want you to use. We're trying to give you a variety. We want to give you that buffet, and then you go, ooh, I like this, and I want some of this, and I want, that's what we're trying to do for you. And I hope that we're doing that for you.
Misha, this
with
is
that
Paola.
said, yes.
I have a question right before we leave. I have a question. One of the special ed teachers wanted to know, because the way they send out accommodations and modifications has been through Google. Would they be able to use this platform, like develop a class notebook and have those accommodations and modifications accessible for the teachers, or do you think it would not, be appropriate?
Are you which accommodations are you referring to? Are you referring to like using like the Snap and Read or some of the readers?
I'm talking about the IEP accommodation.
The documentation.
Okay.
It's the actual documentation that we give out.
All right.
Yeah.
So you say would you be able to upload that into Google Meet? That's what you're asking?
No, would we be able to use the Microsoft Teams, like maybe a class notebook? Um,
I would not see why not. Now I do know also in Microsoft Teams that or in Microsoft in general that they have like the depending on what browser you're using, they have like the immersive reader and they have some other features that Microsoft has already kind of like embedded into their stuff. And there's a new browser that's out that kind of combines Google and Microsoft. They kind of shake hands finally. Instead of looking at each other and not liking each other so much, they're actually working together. And it's the new Edge. It's the Chrome Edge, right? Right, Larry? That's what it's called.
Yes, that is correct.
And that one has like the immersive reader already built into it. That will read for the students and that kind of stuff. So there are some things that it does have to offer.
okay.
If
So
you
as
need more
far as
information
schools,
on that, you can email me and I can look into it for you.
Now, one thing, Paula, I would be very careful of, though. We're talking two different things. We're talking, one, using it instructionally with SPED students, using the immersive reader in that part. But then I think you're also talking about using for documentation, which you have to be very careful of.
Yeah.
and that was my question, and I think
Okay.
somebody had also asked how secure is this platform for when we're looking at confidential information?
Jessica, would you add into that? On the security of, because doesn't SPED have its own way for the documentation?
Well, so what, and Paula, you can correct me. So what we've been doing is, what used to happen is when we would have students with IEPs and have accommodations. So the student who's a SPED student, but they are receiving instruction in a general ed classroom, the SPED teacher needs to give copies of those accommodations to the gen ed teachers. So now that we don't have a way to physically hand them copies right now, we were trying to look at, is Google Drive a way to do it, to share directly? Put settings on that, because before our gen ed teachers really didn't have access to get to eSped. They weren't able to really get in there to look at the accommodations. The gen ed or the SPED teachers would have to give them like a copy or like a downloaded form of those IEP documents. So I think that's where you're thinking that the gen ed teachers would just go to Frontline, but they can't do that. So the SPED teachers would have to give them like PDFs or just make copies and give it to them. So, but I guess I'm thinking is if it's something that we feel is it secure enough where we feel like we could create a classroom notebook and say, all the teachers who have Joey Smith, here's your accommodations list for Joey Smith.
Okay.
I mean, that's something, we can look at as far as the security measures and confidential information, because I know some of the campuses were already doing it electronically.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that was my question. If we go transfer to Microsoft Teams, would that be, I guess, would the level of security be the same? Because right now everything's electronic either way. I mean, we can't.
Yeah, we're either emailing it or sharing a Google Doc if we have to or something.
I think that Microsoft Teams is pretty safe. I mean, I don't think that, and if it's your notebook, and let's say that I have a team and I have just educators in this team with me, and then we're discussing a particular student, nobody from the outside is even going to be able to access any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like if you're just inviting the teachers that have those particular students.
Yeah. If I'm just inviting innovative learning, nobody from the outside is even going to be able to access anything because it's locked in innovative learning's team.
Yeah.
So if I have a teacher and I share that with them, would I be able to see if they did access it or if they did open it?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think we'd have that option.
The only way probably, Paula, for us to do that is if we did some kind of thing where they would have to sign the document and give it back. Or say that they looked at it.
And leave some virtual footprint that they did see it or receive it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, as a user, you can put a note on it. You can put it with, it'll have your name on it. You say, okay, I've read this on this and this date.
Yeah.
And go through the procedures if that works for everybody. But we have to decide what are the procedures first.
Okay. All right.
Someone's asking if they could assign it as an assignment, and I would say yes. I would think so. Especially if you are all teachers in there. Now I don't know if a teacher can get an assignment. Now if you're using it as a PLC group, yeah.
I think
so.
well, because I was playing around and I added a couple of people as students, but they're actually already teachers, and it just let them add them as a student. So as long as I just keep them as a student in that classroom, they got assigned.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
So it's just whatever role. It's kind of like Google Classroom, right? Just, I mean, you can have teachers also be students and not be able to do any teachery stuff in that classroom. They got assigned as a teacher or as a student.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. Now, just a heads up, guys, that we are in the Q&A time. We are finished. I can go ahead and I'll put the link to the bit.ly again. But yes, we are finished. If you'd like to stick around, listen to the discussion, we are here. So thank you all very much.
Oh, I did have a quick question. This is a little random. Is there any benefit to actually installing, because it kept popping up a little thing like, do you want to install it for a Mac or do you just want to use the web-based version? Is there any benefit to either or?
Actually, not really. It's up to you. You can use it without downloading anything. You can just use the cloud version. I have it on my Mac already, just because it gives me it'll give you notifications like, like anything else when you're not online. You get a little bleep. Oh, somebody's posting something, that kind of stuff. But it's not necessary.
Yep.
You don't have to have it.
Well, no, I just didn't know if there were certain features that I would be missing out on, kind of thing. So
no.
Yeah.
Everything
it used to be that way. A few years ago, it was very different, and it was more robust as the app. But now, I would not say that. They're so close now.
Oh yeah. Almost like I never really see any need really for web or for apps when I have a web-based version.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody got something out of this.
Oh, thank you, Misha. Thank you for doing
that. Get your feet wet with it. Just try it out, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. But just give it a try.
Absolutely.
I think it's pretty powerful stuff. And I'm gonna. I don't know if it's gonna let me stop the recording, but Larry, you want to stop that recording?
I will take care of that right now.
All right.